Is Kelly Mountain, and I'm with Goddess Modern. I work with women and couples for transformational work and intimacy. And this is the Pisces new moon tarot reading. I do a online live tarot reading every new and full moon each month. I find that working with the archetypes of tarot and astrology are so helpful for understanding more about human psychology and dynamics and relationships and just how to navigate the wild ride that is life. So you can find all of my live tarot readings in a playlist that I have here on YouTube under my lives. And yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the reading. I just want to say thank you so much for being here with me. I so appreciate you and value your time. And thank you for you know, I guess in some way trusting me with your time. It's a precious resource, and I really just appreciate and honor it so much. So thank you for spending it here with me in this way. And so I've already cleansed the decks, shuffled, pulled cards. I cleansed my space, myself, lit a candle, said a prayer of intention for the collective humanity for this Pisces new moon. So this reading might resonate for you in relationship to yourself in your own life. It might resonate for you in relationship to a relationship. And it might resonate for you just as part of like the collective whole of humanity that we're all in here together at this time. So let's see, I'm just gonna go ahead and get started, and we'll see the story that wants to come through here. Okay, I always like to start by picking out these Spirit Cats deck cards. Excuse me, I just gotta plug my phone in, I'm just realizing. And my friend Nicole PR creates this deck, Spirit Cats, and I'll put the information in the description box below. So to start us off here, we have Threshold. Meet Sage. She is the queen of the threshold. In or out or in, she lingers right at the borderland between worlds. Glancing back, she takes stock of everything she's cherished, everything that has challenged and interested her, and everything that has weighed her down and limited her. She peeks her nose through the door and smells the fresh air of possibility with a swirl of exhilaration and a hint of fear. Perhaps she even tiptoes through a few times only to return to her old world for a while. Find peace at the threshold, but don't surrender to the turn back now gargoyles that guard the gateway. When you are ready, you will stride boldly into your new world. Well, gosh, I couldn't imagine a more perfect new moon energy for this time period. Yeah, because so the energy in general of a new moon, it's a new beginning. It's a new seed that we are planting in a part of our lives. And the ways that these cycles work, there's really like cycles within cycles of time. So generally planting seeds at the new moon is going to come to fruition in 2 weeks at the next full moon, and also at 6 months in the next full moon in relation to the new moon. So for another way to say it is, so like this is a Pisces new moon coming up. So in 6 months, we're gonna have the Pisces full moon. And so it's gonna be an even more powerful fruition of the seeds that are being planted right now, although we might even see some pieces developing within the next full moon cycle happening in 2 weeks. So threshold, and there's this the story of the cat that's like in out in out. I feel like part of what's perfect about this card for this Pisces new moon is that we are right now we are in the retrograde energy of both Venus and Mercury. We're in the shadow periods of both those, and we also have just recently we've started to move out now of the, like Mars, the planet Mars is now turning direct, and it's been retrograde for a long time. I think since like, I want to say January 6th, I believe. Might even be December 6th. It's been a while. So we basically, the first like 4.5 months of 2025 is just covered in retrograde energy with Mars, Venus, and Mercury. And what these planets are all doing, so Mars is going from Leo to Cancer to Leo. Venus and Mercury are soon to be going from Pisces to Aries, Pisces, Aries, back to Pisces, back to Aries. So there's that in out. And the whole point of why the retrogrades happen is so that it kind of gives us a moment, like before we start something new, it kind of gives us this last moment of like, hold on, make sure you've fully taken care of everything. You know, you just want to like go through, revise, you know, just reassess, re-examine, you know, everything to just make sure that you have what you need in place before you kind of, you know, stride out into this new direction. And typically the things that need to be in place are going to be like tying us up loose ends, or they're going to be a little bit more like behind the scenes, they're going to be a little bit more internal. And the whole point is to ultimately equip us with what we really need to move with the most productive energy in this new direction. So I think it's interesting that it's being picked up here in the cards. And you know what? Because the weather, you know, it's winter still, I'm going to turn the lights on really quick. Sorry, 1 second. I want you to be able to see me. Getting a little dark there. Okay. So yeah, it really speaks to the retrograde energy that we're in. And actually too, speaking of Mercury, the energy of Mercury, this week of the new moon, which is happening on Thursday the 27th, if you live in the United States, or in that, you know, part of the world, it'll be the 28th if you live like in like Europe or Asia perhaps. But so this is a very mercurial week because we have Mercury is going to conjunct Saturn and then Neptune and the North Node all this week. And it's going to sextile Uranus. So it's just a lot of mercurial energy that's getting stimulated this week. And it's in Pisces. And so, yeah, the archetype there, on the lower, on the more challenging side of things, it's an energy where communications have a potential to come across as being kind of vague and nebulous, being kind of contracted or limited in some way. On the more like positive range of how this can express itself, it's going to be communications that are creative and intuitive, insightful, dreamy. So that's really like leaning into that part of ourselves, that more kind of like feminine, intuitive, receptive, creative part of ourselves, is going to be good to, it's going to be a good energy to lean into, and kind of like express more through as well. So communicating through means that are more expressive and creative are going to be maybe more effective and efficient than trying to communicate through language. Although if it's poetic, maybe if it's poetry of some kind, that could be a way to lean into this energy and express more of the high side of it. Just know that either like yourself or others are gonna, we're all moving through this current of energy. So it's just, it's good to notice if our communications are going into a direction where it seems a little vague and unproductive. It's probably a good idea to just take a pause on that mode of communicating for a little bit and go more into an expressive aspect of communicating, which might even be something that you keep more personal to yourself before you like bring it out to another person. So yeah, you'll know. Just giving you some heads up. I'm going to continue on the reading here. Okay, so part of what I like about this card too, Threshold, I've been reflecting on this new moon specifically and how right now we have the North Node conjunct Neptune in Pisces, and this has not happened since the 1850s. And part of what I'm really excited for is how like one of my favorite artistic aesthetics, which is Art Nouveau, and then followed by Art Deco, it started in the 1850s. So I'm really excited and curious to see how this North Node Neptune Piscean cycle is going to express itself in the world at this time. And I actually feel like it's a really beautiful, deeply feminine, creative, healing, intuitive energy. And I feel like it's going to be an artistic force of healing that the world just really needs at this time. So it's exciting. Okay, I'm going to get into the tarot at this point. So I have 3 decks here. This first deck is what I use to pull messages from the ancestors. So I reach out, I set a prayer of intention for the ancestors of humanity. And it's even just like saying those words, the ancestors of humanity, I can like actually just feel like such a big energy, because that's a lot of, it's a lot of people, it's a lot of beings, a lot of bodies, a lot of consciousness, a lot of history, a lot of experience, you know, of to even just like tap into the energy of that feels big. Anyhow, in this deck I got both the this is the Antique Anatomy Tarot, and I got the Page of Cups reversed and the Knight of Swords. And under the deck, I got the 9 of Swords. So Page of Cups reversed to me, it's saying there's a message of like, perhaps you were really hopeful for a new beginning that was going to be emotionally fulfilling in some way. And for some reason, it didn't work out in the way that you thought it should or wanted it to, or hoped for. And so the Page of Cups in reverse, it can be an energy of disappointment. It can be an energy of somebody that's also just emotionally very immature. They're not very developed in themselves yet. They're not very refined. And so that could be, you know, that could be one way that it expresses. I'm looking at this Knight of Swords and thinking, okay, so Knight of Swords is a part of ourselves that feels like the need or inspiration for some reason to come forward with some communication in a way that's fast. And while that can be a, you know, it's kind of a, you know, it's kind of a superpower to be open to the parts of ourselves that can, you know, respond really quickly and can be, you know, like there's a healthy impulsivity. There's like a healthy there's a healthy degree to, you know, just letting the words go and just letting it flow, and like just being brave enough to like express and you know, see what happens. And but sometimes if we don't quite, so like that's like, you know, like all these things have this like range of like high side and low side benefits. And so, you know, but if sometimes it's hard to know if our impatience or our impulsivity, sometimes it's hard to know where exactly that's coming from within us. And if it's coming from an emotional place, Page of Cups reversed, it might be good to just notice that part of ourselves and see where else we can channel that energy for now. Because if it's coming from Page of Cups reverse, which is like an emotional disappointment of some kind, the communication that we have to share, it could be more damaging than we mean for it to be. So it's just important to just, you know, keep that one in your back pocket through this next week, if that's helpful at all. On the bottom of the deck, there's 9 of Swords. So there's a lot of swords energy in, right? We got 9 of Swords, we got Knight of Swords. So 9 of Swords, this is at the bottom of the deck. This is kind of like what's affecting from behind the scenes, what's affecting from the subconscious into your current experience with the Page of Cups reverse and the Knight of Swords. So the 9 of Swords, it's like it's the stress that keeps you up at night. It's the stress that's just like a slow, constant grinding on your nervous system. So I'm also noticing the next card on the bottom of the deck is the Ace of Pentacles, which is a really beautiful energy to bring into this configuration right now, which tells me a new beginning is taking place in the material world. And this energy, like, it's almost like to best channel the energy of this Page of Cups reversed, the Knight of Swords, and the 9 of Swords. It's telling me that one of the best ways to channel this energy is to like put it into something productive, a new beginning in the material world that is creating a pathway for long-term manifestation and needs being met. So so that's a really good just kind of guide on how to redirect this energy of stress and like a sense of urgency, channel it into creating a new beginning for yourself that's going to put you on a path to long-term success, material success and manifestation. 1 second, please. All right, in this next deck, called the Tarot of Transcendence, my cousin makes this deck. This is a deck I call in messages from the spirit guides and angels and allies, and so I did so for the collective humanity for this Pisces new moon, and I got the 10 of Swords and the Chariot reversed. So 10 of Swords, oh, and then at the bottom of the deck, I got the High Priestess. So the 10 of Swords is a painful ending of some kind. This is a really, this energy, it can be really heavy. It can be really hard. Typically, this energy is in relationship to somebody else. Something happened. An ending happened. It's very painful, hurtful. There might even be some energy of like betrayal or deceit, backstabbing, And, you know, these are big words: betrayal, deceit, and backstabbing. And, you know, even though, I just want to say, like, even though sometimes it looks like people do things intentionally, and sometimes they do, sometimes the energy comes off that way, but in reality, it wasn't really intended to be that way. So just for whatever that's worth. Anyhow, so Ten of Swords, painful ending. We get it with the Chariot in reverse. And so Chariot reverse is, it's a sign to just pause. It's not time to just go blazing down a new track right now. Ten of Swords to me says there's potentially a lot of cleanup work to do, whether it's like on healing yourself in some way, or healing a life situation in some way, healing a relationship in some way, healing from a breakup. Chariot reverse would tell me it's time to just pause and go within, really connect deeply to your feelings, and I'm just like reflecting right now on how the planet Mars just went direct in Cancer as well. So we've had this like reverse Chariot energy collectively since I think it went, let's see. Yeah, it's been retrograde, I believe, since January 6th. And yeah, in general, like I was saying with the Venus and the Mercury retrograde coming up as well, it's just more kind of confirmation that the best way to like utilize our time right now is going within and really connecting to our feelings. And even with the High Priestess being on the back of the deck, that would echo that sentiment, and that would say, absolutely, go within, tend to the inner space, connect to your highest self, do activities, self-care activities that are meditative and reflective, insightful in some way. So, you know, journaling is such a great way to do all of this: pulling cards, lighting a candle, saying a prayer, doing a meditation, take a walk in nature, do what you need to do to connect to more of like the unseen forces of life. So part of what I want to say, part of what's coming up for me so far with this reading is sometimes challenging things happen to us, and it's hard to see past the pain to understand like why this could be happening. And it's easy to be a victim, to feel like a victim, and but I would like to invite you to join me into the idea and kind of like a relationship of life that's basically feels something along the lines of, nothing is happening to me, everything is happening for me, and I am a very powerful, conscious creator of my life. Why would I have created this challenging experience so that I can learn and grow and potentially even like heal and transform at this time in the way that I need to? If I were to have chosen this, which my personal belief is that we choose everything in our lives, that we are ultimately the creators of our own life experience, and that it reminds me of this quote. I bring this up all the time. It says, when the soul is ready to grow, she throws the image of it out before her, and then she steps into her own image. She throws an image of the experience out before her, and then she steps into her own image. And so sometimes when it comes to dealing with the more challenging parts of life, it's about how we are actually relating to the challenges of our life, right? There's like the challenge itself, the thing that's challenging, but then there's our feelings about the things that are challenging. And sometimes the feelings are also challenging too. So you got the challenge and you got like all the challenging feelings around it. But what if there's a challenge, and what if the feelings around it are something more like curiosity? Curiosity of like, wow, this is really big. Why would I have needed to create this experience in order for me to grow and learn, potentially heal and transform at this time? Why would I have done that? What's really here for me? Because in that relationship to the challenge, it brings feelings of empowerment. And it might not change the challenging thing itself, but it'll change our relationship to what's challenging. And oftentimes, what ends up happening, what we realize once we get down that road more, we realize, oh, that challenge had to happen in order for me to be who I am now and to be where I'm at now. And I never would have got to this place if that, challenging thing didn't happen. So, it's all how we frame things. And part of why this is a significant perspective for this week is because, like I mentioned earlier, we have a lot going on with the planet Mercury this week. Mercury is conjunct Saturn, Neptune, North Node, sextiling Uranus. And so the way we perceive things is going to be really triggered this week by these other planetary archetypes, these influences. So, and as you may know, the way we perceive things oftentimes greatly influences, how we experience it, right? So just something to keep in mind. Excuse me one second again. All right, so in the classical Rider-Waite deck, this is the card that I pull in Messages for the Soul. So for the soul of humanity, I got the Five of Cups and the Empress. And at the bottom of the deck, I got the Two of Swords. So a Five of Cups. So we've got like some pretty like heavy, disappointing energy on the board today, because we've got the Five of Cups, the Ten of Swords, the Page of Cups reversed. So this is, and then we've got like Nine of Swords. Yeah, so there's a lot of stressful energy in this reading. And so again, this might resonate for you. It might resonate for someone that's going through something. It might, like I said, I pull this, these readings are also for the collective. So this might be like, to me, I feel like a lot of what's coming through is really what I've been experiencing in the collective field lately as well. So Five of Cups, it's a card of emotional regret and sadness. It's a card of emotional despair. You got this figure that's like hunched over this like dark cloak. He's like really sad and looking down at these three cups that have spilled over. The Three of Cups is like, an energy of like celebration and happiness with community, and you've got these three cups that are like knocked over, but then behind them are these Two of Cups that are still upright. And the Two of Cups is all about like soulmate, like aligned connections of some kind. So while he's focused on what didn't work out behind him, and if he could just kind of, again, shift the perspective and lift his head up and look behind him, he's still got these Two of Cups standing there. And so, the Five of Cups, it's an energy that all of the archetypes in tarot are energies that every single human alive cycles through over their lifetime, over and over and over again. We're just like, we're constantly cycling through. I mean, it's the hero's journey, which is the archetypes of tarot, and so, you know, we all know this energy. We've all been there. We'll probably be there again. So it's, you know, this is just like a part of the journey and how it goes. And it came out with the Empress. And so I think I love that the Empress came out, because the Empress is also, the Empress and the High Priestess are just two of the most powerful cards for divine feminine energy that are in the tarot archetypes. And so the Empress, you know, one of the things that is coming through is about how she, you know, part of her mastery is the art of connection. And when people are going through things like the Ten of Swords, when they're feeling the Nine of Swords, when they're feeling the Five of Cups, there's an easy tendency to want to disconnect. But the Empress, her mastery is in staying connected, is in how do we rise above and bring all of this energy even deeper into our hearts, and just like completely heal with the energies of compassion and forgiveness and unconditional love and acceptance, like all of the things that connect and bind. And so I think it's a really beautiful energy to be coming up in this reading, because she's also a source of comfort and care and love and nurturance. And perhaps on some level, this is part of the reason for why the challenges are even arising. Maybe the challenges are pushing us more and more into the initiation of the embodiment of this Empress energy in ourselves in some way. She's a very abundant and prosperous energy as well. And I'm being reminded about this Ace of Pentacles that was in the messages from the ancestors. So, and just another confirmation that a really great way to channel any stress and challenging feelings of some kind, channel it into a path of productivity that's going to lead you to being like Empress status in your own life. And you know, Empress, it's a divine feminine energy that we all have within us. So for, you know, it's very personal, these energies of feminine and masculine, what, you know, how each person experiences them. So whatever that means for you to embody the divine feminine Empress energy, you know, this would say, focus your energy into building a path of material stability that supports the embodiment of the Empress. At the bottom of the deck was the Two of Swords. Again, another swords energy. So we've got Two of Swords, Nine of Swords, Knight of Swords, Ten of Swords. So again, a lot of mental energy. And like I said, Mercury, the planet that rules the mind and intellect, has a lot going on this week. So Two of Swords is a card of a choice needs to be made. One path needs to be let go. The way to know which path needs to be let go, you're gonna have to go within, and you're gonna have to use kind of a balance of intellect and intuition, but it has to come from within you. The right answer must come from within you. You see, she's blindfolded and it's nighttime and she's just standing still, and she's in a very kind of inward posture in this card. She doesn't have other people talking in her ear telling her how to do it. And in fact, that mode of choice making from being highly influenced from other people right now is not going to be the best way to make this choice. And sometimes we have to make really powerful choices in our life that we know are right for ourselves, even if the reflection from other people around us is saying the opposite. Only we each know the intricacies of our own life, and everybody outside looking in, they see just a tiny sliver. So be the authority in your own life to get clear of what it is that needs to be let go. Take that guidance from the High Priestess and the Chariot reverse. Go within. And if you have the luxury of time, then give it to yourself. If you don't have to figure everything out right now, and if you can let it wait a few days, wait a week, wait a couple weeks, wait as long as you need, I mean, that's a luxury, and take it until you're clear, but make sure you're not overindulging into non-action as well. The Knight of Swords is coming back through, and the strength of the Knight of Swords is you know what you need to say and you're ready to say it. So don't idle on that energy. If you feel confident that you know what you need to say and you're ready to say it, and you've kind of polished it up a bit, because ideally you're not creating a bigger mess by being a little, not being as mindful as you need to. So yeah, let's see. I think this reading feels pretty complete at this point. These messages always end up unfolding for me. Like, I'll do one of these videos and then I'll go on a walk, and then more will just keep revealing. But I hope that the messages that have come through so far have been helpful or insightful for you in some way. And if you resonate with the way that I read, and if you're interested in a tarot reading, you're welcome to reach out to me through my website, goddessmodern.com. All my contact information is in the description box. And yeah, I just wish you a beautiful Pisces new moon. Oh, astrologically, I wanted to just speak to something I forgot earlier to say. Astrologically, this new moon is interesting also because it's in Pisces, and when there's a Pisces new moon, it's, new moons are generally about new beginnings, but Pisces is the sign of endings, of letting go and endings. So I've been reflecting a lot recently on, how this Pisces new moon will likely come with a recognition that something needs to end in order for something new to begin. The next new moon is in Aries, which is the seed of the whole, the zodiac. In astrology, Aries is where it all begins. And so this new moon, it's, in a sense, it's like the beginning of the end of something. But the beginning wants to start next month with the Aries new moon. So just keep that in mind as well, and I hope that's helpful. Okay, thank you again so much for being here with me in this way, and I wish you a beautiful day.